they ask to the other one of the um, if you are interested in architecture, you could tell that
Mekong
picture of the
women Mekong I said
many.
2025 I'm dating
And in that story, there's a that dive in the Mekong River to get value.
so both of us will run the event today.
But as left right in
The main event is going to be the final pitching and award ceremony on
there's a story and I read about, and I found something that I have been I have found
the students or the competitors
asking for a long time.
for the final pitching and every their innovations. And I will floor to Kun Opo to explain the barrier.
If we are slim,
This
ธาตุพนมพระนม
to Nakhon Phanom 27 September. And get the mentorship from all the committees.
resort. It's fun for people. People like to
The
dance.
fishermen don't have any other way to use the technology to voice out. So this is the prototype showcase for purpose.
คือเราต้องการสนับสนุนงบประมาณเพื่อนำไปพัฒนาตัวโปรโตไทป์ต่อให้สมบูรณ์ครับส่วน2ก็คือโรงงานเขาให้เงิน
So we also need the supplement from the government to actually implement the prototypes.
คือการคืนศักดิ์ศรี
We actually believe that compensation is not just about giving back the money, but also giving back their human dignity and the life they deserve. Thank you.
Cause a lot. That's how I
So the next part is the Q&A from the
the fitness of the river in many countries. The event is happening in the downstream area.
We went to the field trip at
The commonness of the Mekong River in the 6 countries that I could find. That we try to find is we
1,000. But for this to see Mekong River years of is about 2,000.
commonness.
Because the majority of the community are elderly. Did you check the average income per family? We can ask for this data from the local administrative office. And we can also submit the data to the head of village. So we would know exactly that if the family members actually live in that household and how much they actually have earned or they earn here. And we can also check out the market, the fish market, to make the data trustworthy so they cannot fool us.
One of the months.
For the tools we're using to evaluate whether they deserve to get the compensation. Do you have any metrics or tools to evaluate the situation? เอาไงคะ
Negative. The
เดี๋ยวถือตีเองก็ได้วางตรงนี้อย่างนี้เลยไหมอย่างนี้ได้แต่แบบนี้เลยใช่ไหมจะแบบนี้ปะหมายถึงว่าทั้ง2 อันถือแบบนี้ไหมโอเค
try to
Right now, there's a scheme by the government scheme to support the farmers and also the local fishermen. But basically, right now we trying to use blockchain to provide a subsidy to the farmers and also fishermen. And right now, the UN is trying to implement this kind of blockchain technology for those affected. And if it's really about agricultural product, so we can actually use the data from how the drought and how the rain was or have been from the past few years. But for these problems, that is about a local fishery that got affected by the sedimentation level in Mekong River. So you can also use blockchain. So if you actually have time to study the blockchain technology for data tracking. Okay, please give them the round of applause. Good God, team. So this application is called Khong Khun Tin. The application that can be used as connector the community members and the government agencies. And the next team,
what
so the next team, good morning everyone. We are from Kong inside, and we have 4 team members. But, one of our team members is having an exam. Thinking. Kong inside. This is the name of our team. So we believe that Kong River is the very long river and also important. So what if we actually use geodata to actually help out finding information that we cannot really find out by just looking at the Kong River. So after the field trip, we found some problems. Okay, this PNTCA. So basically, if any country wants to build the dam or construct the dam, you really have to inform the other countries downstream. But somehow, about 600 to 700 dam construction. So just 10% that have been informed in advance. So we can't really say how much that have been affected economically. So it's about natural resources, loss of natural resources, loss of local fishery, loss of riverbank agriculture, and it's more like 7 billion baht that got affected by the dam construction alongside Kong River. So we found out that there are 2 main problems. So it's conflict of interest of the governments that got involved in the dam construction. For example, the dam construction in Laos, there are also investors from China and Thailand who invested, for example, in Sayaburi Dam. So it was invested jointly by Thai and Chinese government, but of course the committee didn't get informed. And the second problem, and also the imbalance of power between different governments. As we all know, the upstream Kong River originally comes from Tibet and travel to China, travel to Laos, travel to Myanmar. But somehow the downstream countries, we don't have the same power as the China has, or so there is this one organization called MRC, or Mekong River Commission, who actually kind of the coalition between the downstream countries who cannot really control China, and also the Chinese government also founded the organization called Mekong Corporation. This is about our scope of work. So this is about the loss of sediment after the dam construction. So we want to find out like what really happened and how much sediment has lost. And we actually want to put out the system to track the data, and then we're gonna bring the data to the application. And our application is to track the satellite data and hope that the committee members or villagers can actually access to information about sedimentation. So we can actually analyze how condensed the river is or how clear the river is during the certain time of the year. And hope that we can actually build a map out of it, and hope that the committee members can also check out and then plan for their livelihood. And for example, and how the sandbar would be formed and how it's going to affect the livelihood of the committee members. So we have a short-term, medium-term, and long-term plan. So the first one, the first year, the short-term, we're going to plan for the use of AI, and for the midterm, we're going to start live data tracking. So the committee members would know like what is actually happening to the river. And for the long term, we want to work on the policies related to the dam construction. Like MRC, for example, is founded by the downstream countries. So they really have no control over the Chinese government. But we can also use this kind of data tracking application on other rivers as well. So we have the budget according to the working plan or working scope also. At the short term, we think about 700,000, and midterm we think about 300,000 and also 350,000. But all the plan must be participatory, and also the committee members must be actively participate into this plan. And many people might wonder like how we're gonna get the committee members to help out. So I actually work with the Children and Youth Council at the country level, so we can work with the Children and Youth Council at provincial level in Nakhon Phanom. And I really hope that we can work closely with Nakhon Phanom University, and also research, international research center, International Research Center Sirinthorn, and hope that we can get the outcomes we're expecting. So we hope that socio-cultural impact can be made, economic impact can be made, as well as environmental impact can be made. For socio-cultural impact, we really hope that the committee members can take part in policy making decision and economic impact. So really hope that the committee members can plan in advance for the riverbank agriculture and environmental impact. We hope that we can actually reduce the risk for the environmental loss around the Mekong riverbank. And this is what these are the questions we have got from the committee members. Actually, this is a transboundary problems, and also it's really about geopolitics in this region. So what we should do is trying to transfer uncontrollable problems to the areas that we can actually have a certain control. Like for example, Shi River, which is the branch river of Kong, and Moon River, which is the branch river of Kong. So if the government wants to build a dam around Songkram River, so if we have the strong data to oppose it, so the committee members can also use the data from this tracking application to oppose the dam construction in the future. Thank you.
ไปแล้วนะครับสำหรับการนำเสนอของน้องทีมยุทธอาสาท่านต่อไป
So thank you, Youth Asa team. And the next session is for the committee members. Okay, we talked a lot about it yesterday, and right now, yes, as we said, geopolitics is very important and very interesting. Somehow can actually address it, because if we want to address it at Kong River, it's almost impossible. But if we go down a little to the branch rivers, in Songkram River, for example, that is going to be interesting if we can have a certain model and then disseminate the knowledge to the committee members. Because if we really want to talk about the geopolitics, it's very, very big issue. Probably have to scale down and focus more on the specific area. Talk about networking, how to reach out to the committee. How can you actually, how would you be able to do it? So of course, we have the connection with the Council of Student and Youth, and I actually really want everyone to get engaging, because it's really about their livelihood, and hope that we can have a space for the local community members and also the local youth and local students to voice out their concern. Okay, so what is the tangible outcome for this application? So the tangible outcome of this application is that the local community can predict the season or the specific timeline for their agriculture. So this is the most tangible outcome we want. And we actually collect the data from our field trip. We got to talk to the committee members, and if they can get prepared for the seasonal riverbank agriculture, it's going to be very useful for their livelihood. And please check your data, because I was about to believe that Pakshi Dam really exists. It's actually Pak Moon Dam, but yeah, please carefully check your
ครับจบ
data.
ลงไปแล้วนะครับสำหรับการนำเสนอผลงานจากทีมยุทธอาสาขอเสียงปรบมือให้กับน้องๆด้วย
Okay,
นะครั
thank you very much,
บ
Youth Asa team.
ลำดับต่อไปครับ ขอเชิญทีมไอ้มาสี่คนครับด้านห
The
น้า
next
นี้ครับ
team, hi Masi. For the family living alongside the riverbank, it's not just about income, but it's also about a livelihood. But somehow we have seen a lot of floating dead fishes. So what can actually we do about it? It's not just about one community problem that everyone must address together. And the fish health is not just about the income loss, but it's also about the natural resources problem. And the committee members lack of the platform or application to report, and also the government agencies cannot really communicate with the committee members effectively. It's actually the same problems that are all connected. And we believe that we should not let the committee members to deal with this problem alone, and we propose uh, the platform, the online platform that everyone can just report uh, the the loss of fish species or the fish health basically. So if everyone can put all the data together, so we can find a solution like basically real time solution. But also like initial recommendations from AI. So the application. So we're gonna start with the questionnaire, so the committee members can fill up the information. So we're gonna have a website for young generation, application for the older people, and the user can fill in the information about the fish health. So if we actually click the button report, the AI can just give initial suggestions on how to address the issues. We will also have the data about fish species in Kong River. We also have an AI chatbot to actually give a instruction on how to use the application, and this is the prototype, so you can just scan it because and we also have Live OA for the elderly to use it as easy as possible. And it's not just about the ideas, but we talk about the existing technologies. We use a Next React to create the website, and we also have AI chatbot. By using the information from Department of Fishery, and we also have Live OA integration for committee members and also the elderly, because it's easier for them. And the target audience is a local fishermen and also the people who do fish farming, and also the second target audience are local community, government agencies, and NGO, local administration, and the outcomes we expecting. We hope that we're gonna get more than reports, and hope that more than 500 fishermen household can get benefited, and 90% of them can access a data way easier. This is our team members. Thank you. So actually, the last word is that Hak Nam Hak Pla is not just about the platform, but it's more like collaboration between committee members. So this can also create the unity among the committee members, and they can get to work together. And hope that our innovation can be pushed into the real action to address the problems faced by the committee alongside Khong
ครับขอ
River.
เสียงปรบ
Thank
มือ
you.
ให้กับไอ้มา4 คนครับนะครับโดยได้มีการนำเสนอแนวคิดในการนำมาเป็น
And very interesting that they integrate AI
ในการเดิน
engine
ลำดับต่อไปครับ
to help out with
และ
their
คำถามจาก
application.
คณะกรรมการครับ
And
โดยท่านแรกครับขอ
the next one is
รับจาก
okay. The next
อา
is
จารย์
going to
ด
be
ร. สิริธร
Q&A.
สุตานนท์
So when you want to ask for the information from the Department of Fishery, did you reach out to the provincial fishery office when we talk about the fish disease? So the Department of Fishery has some information provided, but their website looks complicated and it's not easy to use. So that's why we actually want to simplify them. AI chatbot to help out. We actually talked quite a lot yesterday. Right here is that when we talk about the fish disease or livestock disease, either it's chicken disease, pig disease, for livestock, that is actually quite easy. It can be easily controlled, but when it comes to fish disease, it's impossible to control the infectious disease with the fish because, especially in the international river, because fishes would just go wherever they want. Even if it's not easy to control the fish disease, so if we actually put one more function about how the water level and also how the water condition is going to affect the fish disease, this is going to be even more useful. So this is just my opinion. So if you actually push more information about the water condition, it's going to be so in the next phase. So if we actually find out that fish disease are severe in certain areas, so we can ask also the government agencies to come inspecting. You can actually inspect basically only fish farming, but you cannot really inspect the fish disease in the international river because you cannot really control fishes travel, but in the fish farming, yes, it's possible. How are you going to do the machine learning with AI? So we're going to use the information from the Department of Fishery to train AI, the machine learning AI. do you need probably expert to run the machine learning with the AI? Actually, we don't know about it by now, so that's why we propose the platform that committee members can take part. And how are you going to relay the information, the data, to the government agencies for the resolution? Actually hope this data will give the government a broader picture on how to track the fish disease. Hope that we can relay the data to the government agencies and then they can look for solution. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm Masikon team. So it's halfway already. The Okay, we going to present use map. So the policies that can actually address the problems about the loss of culture and also traditional way of life. Basically, the young people have to leave their community because they actually don't know how to earn enough, and actually a lot of people elderly have their own traditional knowledge and traditional way of living, but they cannot just relay it to the next generation. And also young people and youth actually don't have the opportunity to learn from the elderly. So the objectives is that we actually want to organize the capacity building for on cultural and also traditional way of living for young people around Khong River, and also the young people can also take part in terms of a preservation and restoration. And also technology should be used as a part of cultural preservation, and hope that we can also use the technology to actually support the preservation of the culture way of living. Want to also create the relationships between the elderly and also the young generation. And we actually want to look for the technology and also to preserve the local wisdom, and hope that the youth who wants to stay home can stay home. And our concept, we did our research and then we went to the field trip in Nakhon Phanom. So what we actually experienced is that even if the time passes by, even the time passes by, one thing that remains the same is actually local wisdom. So we get to interview the ethnic group called Akha. So the young generation, the youth from Akha ethnic group actually want to stay home and then preserve their own identity, but they actually find out that the loss of their identity is actually happening. And they actually ask us like our identity, our culture has been living for more than 1,000 years. So how can they actually let that gone or completely extinct? So we actually want to create a website that can create the use map that can actually preserve or collect the data about the traditional way of living and their own culture. So this actually will lead to the AI-led tourism, also technology-led tourism. And this is not going to be only the myth, but it's going to be the public policy at broader level. Stakeholders. So there would be youth, tourists, local community, government agencies, also donors, experts, as well as those who actually going to preserve. So the youth in the local community is going to be the one who actually look for the preserver. So it's going to be a field trip. We plan for the field trip to learn more about the local culture and also traditional way of living. So when we actually find out about the knowledge, so we can actually plan it further for the technology-led tourism. So last year alone, there were 2 million tourists coming to Nakhon Phanom. So these people, these tourists can actually be the integral part of the cultural preservation. So the tourists can actually go to the local community and then cherish the traditional culture and way of living. So this can be used also for funding pitching, funding proposal, and also the expert can also get involved. We plan for 3 years with 680,000 baht. Because the use map is like YouTube or TikTok channel that people have to continuously feeding information. So we're going to focus on website and then the core team expense. And for the second year, we're going to use most of budget for platform upgrading and also for the marketing purpose. And the last year, we're going to use a budget for renting server. This is our website. So the first page of the website is basically define who we are. And the next one is going to be the use map. Like, so we can see clearly what they do in specific area. Like for example, in Nakhon Phanom, so there would be a local culture map basically, and also we can pin in each province like what is actually their identity, what is actually their culture. And who are they? Who are the local communities? So we're gonna have also the video clip to update. on the situation, like what they are doing right now, what kind of traditional culture or way of living that they're preserving. And it's like, okay, the last one is like objectives, like why they're doing what they're doing, and we can also provide a space for the partners and also the activities for the UX UI, so we can follow up like what is happening right now with the project. So it's going to be similar to Pantip website, so it's more like the web board. And we also have the chat AI bot to provide specific information. Thank you. So thank you very much for this team. Use my website that is going to share the traditional culture and also way of living. What is the principle? So we're going to launch our application at Nakhon Phanom province, and we're going to target the youth group first. So we're going to reach out to local schools and hope that the young generation can go on the field trip to, especially to the community that's still preserving the traditional culture and way of living for the tourists. When they actually go to each province, maybe there's something for the tourists that they want to know specifically, not just about the landmark bucket list. So have enough data for each community, for each culture. So maybe tourists can actually access those communities. Follow up on the cultural and traditional. Well, basically, how can you actually going to propose certain communities with the specific ways of traditional culture and way of living? How would you know that the communities actually have the certain knowledge, for example? So we would like to seek for the historical data and also historical fact to support our proposal. We're gonna start like snowball. We start with one person and hope that it gets rolling. And if it's like the new culture that has never been recorded before, we probably have to get the archaeologists to help out tracking with the tracking. Actually, there's quite a lot similar projects like this, especially at the provincial level. So even if those who don't work directly on the cultural aspect also interested. So I think you really have to be unique and different from the existing projects. If you heard about pseudoscience, and these days we see a lot of pseudo culture. So it's like something that was just recently made and to claim that this is our identity, but but it's not that authentic. Let's put it this way. So how can we like, for example, if you have heard about people just eating the beef out of the actual ribs of the cow. In Chiang Mai, for example, it sounds like a very cold things to do, but it gets famous because it's very cold. So this is why I said it has to be somehow different, authentic. It's something very trendy, so that's why it has to be unique. So if you really want to work on culture or cultural aspect, you have to look closer at the folklore. Even you have to look closer at different data sources, because the pseudo culture is not going to help out with your project. And also the local products from each community, you can also take a look closer, because this can be the selling point also.
ขอเสียงปรบมือให้กับทีมวงโขงโค้งโค้งโขงครับลำดับต่อไปครับขอเรียนเชิญทีมที่5ครับทีมที่นี่ริมโขงครับ
The 15
น้องๆพร้อมแล้วนะครับจะเริ่มกัน
we from this team, and we went to the field trip the other day, and we actually found out that Khong River bank has faced a serious erosion, and also the effects from dam construction. So what is actually happening is that we see more and more the loss of local agriculture. So we have got the idea on flower blooming, which is basically the walking street alongside Khong River. So we actually want to plant the local trees, local flowers, and also the local vegetable to actually attract the tourists. And also this is for also botanical preservation, and the objectives about to balance the to preserve, basically to balance between the preservation of a local kind of local vegetable or local trees or any kind of local botany. So we can use the footpath or alongside the footpath near Khong River. So we can actually organize the landscape and also to support the local economy, and also to support community participation as well as to create the space that is sustainable and also environmental friendly. This one is the concept. So we start first with the benefit. So the area will get even more beautiful and more scenery, more scenic. Sorry. And alongside the riverbanks can host the livelihood of a local fish species and also to support the community participation. But we also have to study the environment in each season and the target audience. We went to Don Pladap, Nakhon Phanom. So we start from the 27th of September to the 28th of September. So we interview the committee members, we interview local people, and we actually have two main target audience. So the first one is the local community, and the relevant target audience is the youth, students, and also those who are interested in flowers and botany. For the budget, we probably gonna use around 100,000 for 5 rides, but we're gonna have the pilot project for 1 ride first. So we're going to use the money for the flower seed and botanical seed. So it's not gonna be the fixed number, and also for the water system and also fertilizer, as well as the labor wage. This is the example. This is how it's going to look like. So we're going to blend in between the nature and also the way of living of people in the community. An expected outcome is to support the professions and to increase the income for local communities. Hope that the community can take part also in this project. We actually choose this issue because the dam construction creates a serious erosion alongside the riverbank, as well as the effect on the water level and also water quality. So somehow the local communities has lost their income and livelihood. So we cannot really call the hypo, hydropower dam as the clean energy. The last slide, how it's related to all of your presentation. Because the dam construction actually caused the erosion. The dam construction causes the erosion, so the riverbank agriculture has affected wildflowers because it's actually a good idea, but it's a bit strange choice because how flower plantation is going to affect the local community and also the local culture. I actually went to the field that they already have the flower plantation. So when I talk to the local communities, so it really depends on how the water level will go up and down according to the upstream dam. So we actually proposed this idea because we think that it can be attractive to the tourists, and also the local communities can also earn more income from this tourism or tourist activity, this kind of tourism or this kind of tourist activity. What kind of flowers or what kind of vegetable that you actually proposing? We actually propose the marigold flowers because it's actually can actually sell it for certain kind of ceremony, and you can also use the marigold flower to make the dye color. I think next probably have to check also if the soil erosion can be help out with a certain kind of flowers or certain kind of tree. I think you have to understand also about the ecology, because alongside the riverbank, the local community also use the area alongside the riverbank to plant their own vegetable and their own agricultural products anyways. So this project, you just gonna use the riverbank land to support the local community, or you just gonna run it on your own? Somehow you really have to work closely with the community, because it's also about the legal stuff on the land title and land deed, so you have to ask for the permission. You also have to check the local ecology system, because a one time the local leader wants to draw the sun hymn alongside Kong River, but this is not gonna work because it's actually the alien species, and it's like invasive species. So that project was opposed, and then the guy couldn't do it. The guy who's like the local leader couldn't do it. So you also have to check carefully about the ecology system.
ขอบคุณครับจากทีมจิกกี้ริมโขงครับ
Thank you from Chiki Rim Kong.
เดินทาง
The last team.
น้องจิกกี้ไปก็ได้การนำ ที่เราได้ร่วมรับฟังแนวคิดขอเสียงปรบมือให้กับ Greener Thailand
Greener Thailand team.
สวัสดีครับ
My name is PJ. and tea.
เอาเลยครับเรารู้ว่าแม่น้ำโขงของเราเนี่ยบอกเลยว่ามีข้อมูลเยอะ
Okay,
แยะมาก
talking
มายค
about
รับ
Khong
ซึ่ง
River,
เราเนี่ย
we
ก็
have
ไม่
got
รู้
a
ว่า
lot
ข้อ
of
มูล
information,
มันมีอะไรบ้างถ้าเป็น
and
ชาวบ้าน
it's actually a
จะ
bit
รู้เรื่อ
too
งไหน
much until
ถ้าเป็นระดับนม
people
ระดับ
cannot
น้ำที่เยอะ
verify the
แยะมากมาย
information.
สารพง
So
สา
if
ร
you
พิษ
just
ต้องมาดู
the
แผนที่ภูมิภพ
regular
ภูมิทัศน์
citizen,
โอ้โห
you're not
เรา
gonna
งง
even
ครับ
pay
แล้ว
attention
ยังไง
to
อีก
this
ฮะพอเรา
data.
มีปัญหาเนี่ยเสียงของคน
So
ก็ไป
somehow
ไม่ถึงภาครัฐอีก
when
เอ้า
it's
เรื่อง
too
นี้
much
ชาว
of
บ้านจะแก้ปัญหา
information,
ได้ยังไงล่ะครับ
so
ถ้า
the
เป็นตัว
voice
แบบ
of the
คน
local
เล็กๆ
community
เล็กๆตาโต
doesn't
หู
reach
ตา
to
โตมากเลยแล้ว
the government agency. So it's not so easy to find a solution.
ตอนนี้เราเอมไว้ก่อนว่าที่จังหวัดนครพนมนะครับ
Okay, so our target audience is of
และ
course
นี่คือครับ
the
เสียงของ
local community
สร้าง
in
หนทาง
Nakhon Phanom.
ทุกท่านนะฮะแอดไลน์ไว้ก่อนนะครับ
So we have the Line OA.
ยิงมือถือฮะเดี๋ยว
You
ผม
can
บอกเลยว่า
scan
มีสิทธิพิเศษ
the QR
ให้
code.
สำหรับคนที่สแกนนะฮะถูกต้องเลยครับซึ่งตัว Line OA หรือว่า Line Official ของเราเนี่ยนะครับ
So the Line
ไม่
OA
ได้แม่ๆจะส่งเสียงเรียก
It's
ร้อง
not going to just help out the local
แล้ว Line
community,
OA ของเรานะครับจะเป็น
but
คน
our
ที่
Line
สร้าง
OA
ต่อให้เองเป็น
will
คนสร้างทางที่จะไปถึง
also
ภาครัฐนะฮะเสียงจะไปถึง
provide the
ภาครัฐ
path
อย่าง
on
แท้จริงครับ
a certain policy
แล้ว
level.
อะไรที่จะเป็นสิ่งที่จูงใจของเขาครับ
And what
ก็คือ
is
เราจะ
going
มี
to
ของ
be
สัมมนาคุณ
the
อีกมากมายครับ
motivation
ไม่ว่าจะเป็นของกินของใช้หรือว่าเป็นพวกปุ๋ยพวกอาหารปลาด้วยที่สามารถ
So if they're going to
ใช้
take part in this
เป็นประกอบ
Line
อาชีพได้
OA,
นั่นเองครับ
we're going to give the community leaders or the villagers fertilizer or fish food, for example. So it's going to be a lot of privileges if they join
อัน
the
นี้
Line
นะคือ
OA.
รูปแบบแอปพลิเคชันที่เป็น Line OA
So
ที่
this
ทุก
one
คน
is going to be
มี
the
ไลน์กัน
platform
ทุกคน
for
ถูกไหม
our
ฮะ
Line OA.
แสดงว่าพ่อแม่ก็มีไลน์เหมือนกัน
So if everyone has Line, so it means that
กดเข้าไปอันแรก
the elderly people in the community, we also have the Line account also.
โอ้โหแล้วยายใช้ตรงไหนครับกดตรงไหนแจ้งเตือนนะ
ยายจำได้ว่ายายก็กดอันใหญ่ๆนี่แหละ
กดอันใหญ่ๆกดเพื่อส่งข้อมูลนะกดเข้าไป
So you actually press here to provide the
ยาย
data.
จำได้ว่าปลาที่บ้านยายมันตายไปเยอะมากเลยเหรอ
โอ้โหแล้วอย่างนี้พอเราแจ้งข้อมูลเราได้อะไรบ้างเนี่ย
ยายจำได้ว่ายายได้อาหาร
So after provide the data,
โอ้โห
I got 10 sacks of fish food, and also the government agencies come to us to help out. So this is how our application would work, how our Line OA would work. If you take part, if you provide the data, you will get the reward.
แดงๆกดไปด้านบนนี้พอได้งานประจำสัปดาห์มีอีกด้วย โอ้โห แต่อันนี้มันเป็นวันจริงจะทำงานเป็นแบบอินโฟกราฟิกนะฮะแบบเลิศสแมนตันโอเคครับ
ประกอบการดำเนินงาน
เฮ้ย ไม่ใช่เรามีตัวโอเค
ภาพการดำเนินงานระหว่างชาวบ้านกับเรานะครับไอเอ็มเนี่ย
So how our Line OA is going to work between us and the committee members. So we hope that all the committee members will report the problems on our Line OA, and then we collect all the data and then pass it to the relevant government agencies. And everyone who report the information can also collect the point that can actually change to the certain reward. We also collect the data about the water level, for example, or toxic contamination, and then we provide this data, this kind of data to the committee members who actually use our Line OA. And we will also work closely with the committee leaders.
เฮ้ยไหนลองดูมือถือหน่อยสิมีอะไรเข้าคนต้องเปิดไลน์ดิครับโอ้ทุกคนเปิดไลน์หน่อยฮะใครเข้ามาเลยอะไรเข้ามาสิรายงานข่าวด่วนครับตำบลขามเท่านะครับพบปลาตายจำนวนมากโปรดเฝ้าระวัง
อย่างนี้ต้องระวังแล้วนะครับผม
โอ้โหแจ้งเตือนไวมาก
มีอีกอะไร
อันนี้เป็นข่าวจากทางบ้านเลยนะมามีอีกครับแจ้งข่าวจากกรมอุตุ
And we will also have the alert from different government agencies. Like for example, if typhoon actually is coming, or if the monsoon season, and if the community is actually at risk of the flooding, we will also get the information from the Line OA.
ไม่พอไม่พอ
เราไม่มีการประสานงานกับระหว่างเรากับชาติและในระดับนานาชาติครับผมเนี่ยว่ามันทำไงให้ไปครับเริ่มจากเราเนี่ยจะเก็บรวบรวมปัญหาระหว่างว่าเขาเจอในประจำวันแต่เราจะมีการใช้ไอ้มาช่วย
So we basically collect the information from the community, and then we use the AI to actually filter the data or categorize the data, and then we pass on this data to the relevant government agencies.
ประสานงานไปกับหน่วยงานระดับนานาชาติ
And then we also pass on this data to international organizations like MRC, Mekong River Commission,
และในส่ว
or
นนี้นะครับบอกเลยว่าเรามี
UNFCC.
การจัดทำ policy recommendation
And then we're going to come up with the policy recommendations.
นโยบายนะครับผ
ใช่
ม
ครับเพื่อพัฒนานะครับให้มัน more over and more impact ก็คือให้มันมากขึ้นแล้วก็ impact ใน3 เดือนเราจะเตรียมระบบให้พร้อมนะฮะ
So within 3 months, we're going to prepare the system.
ระดับน้ำ
We're going to prepare the data about the water level. We're going to work closely with the committee members. We're going to work closely with the government agencies. And also, we're going to prepare the application. And within 6 months,
จะพัฒนาระบบปรับปรุง
we're going to
ให้มันดีขึ้น
improve the AI
ภายใน
system.
9 เดือนนะครับ
And within 9
เราจะขยาย
months,
พื้นที่
we're
ไปที่
going
จังห
to
วัดเชียงราย
expand our working area to Chiang Rai province, because there is toxic contamination in Kok River in Chiang Rai province, and within 12 months. So we're going to expand to the regional level, covering China, Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam.
Stakeholder ของเราหรือว่าผู้มีส่วนได้ส่วนเสีย
So these are all the
อันนี้เนี่ย
stakeholders.
เราจะให้ overview มากกว่านะครับแต่ว่า
So it's more like the overview mapping.
มีหลายองค์กรมีหลายเยาวชนนะฮะที่จะมา
So if we can actually reach out to the regional level, we believe that the youth
และในส่วนของโครงการของเรา
from different countries would also join our project.
ช่วยเราเข้าถึงชุมชนได้ง่ายขึ้นแล้วข้อมูลได้เร็ว
So we actually want an easy access
ปรับตัวได้ทัน
to the community, and also community can get timely data, and also their voices
ได้มีข้อมูลเรียลไทม์เพื่อ
can be heard by the government agencies, and also the committee members would receive real-time information so they can get themselves prepared.
ไม่ใช่
And this is the budget. So we would require 450,000 baht roughly.
ยังคงโยงคนสร้างหนทางขอบคุณครับ
Thank you. Okay, we're done with all the final pitching. So the last team actually plans to build a platform that everyone can share the data. And this is going to be Q&A from the committee members. So during the 90s, during my generation, so you actually remind me about the website sanuk.com. So basically, you know exactly that each community also have their group line and also other social media groups. Why do they have to choose your line OA? And what about the accuracy of your data? Because right now, we actually have seen a lot of fake news and disinformation. Also, some of those who actually take part in the live group just to spread the false information. So how can you actually screen these people?
ขอตอบคำถามข้อที่หนึ่งนะครับถามข้อที่หนึ่งถามว่าคุณจะมาใช้เราทำไม
So the first question, like why do they have to use or choose our application?
คนที่นี่ครับบางทีเราต้องการจะเรียกไปที่ต้องเหมือนการเป็นหน่วยงานที่เราต้องไปเองเลยต้องเดินทางไปเองต้องทำตัวนี้นะครับการเสีย
So basically, we heard from the committee members that when they want to reach out to the government agencies, they really have to travel to the government agency office physically. So it's such a waste of time and also energy of the community. So we actually want to cut off that process so everything gets faster. And if they take part in our live problems reporting, they're going to get also the award, the prizes. And the admin of our live OA is actually going to be the actual human, not the AI. So that can be used for the filtering. If you find suspicious user, if you
ใช่ครับอาจจะแล้วก็ในของถ้า6เดือนไปถึง9เดือนนะครับ
so from 6 months to 9 months, we're going to develop the AI system to help out to categorize the big data, the data that we collect from the community. So like this is going to be a flooding problem, this is going to be kind of forest problem, and this is going to be livelihood problems. So we can develop these data to become the policy recommendations. So the price, actually a very interesting way to persuade the committee members to take part or to participate. Somehow, if they just want 50 sacks of fertilizer, so the grandma can just report whatever, even if it's not going to be useful. So how can you actually screen or categorize this big data? I actually want you to ask the expert to actually help out with the data categorization. So they would probably know the context better. And also, what is the tangible outcome for this project? Like, okay, we know exactly that is the data collection platform, but how this can be used to support the community, like in a tangible way.
ที่เขาจะใช้ในแถบภาคใต้ครับขนาดเล็กเราก็ต้องมีว่าเหมือนร่างรายชื่อมานะครับให้มันเยอะแล้วเราก็ต้องมี
For example, we can collect the signatures from the different communities to propose a certain policies, or we can, if there is enough concern from the committee members, we can actually reach out directly to the policy makers using the technology. So how credible this app would be, this live OA would be, really depends on the accuracy of the data that you're going to collect. And the challenging part for your project is how to actually relay or connect your data to the central government agencies.
วันนี้พวกเราวิกเตอร์ไทยแลนด์ขอลาไปก่อนสวัสดีครับ
Thank you. Okay, this is our final pitching. So I would like to invite all the 3 committee members to share your impression and your feelings. How do you feel about the presentations? I think everyone did good today. Because everyone comes from different areas, and you just have 2 or 3 days for preparation. But you actually did good in general. So somehow you really have to be careful with the specific term and specific vocabulary. Especially when you use AI, you really have to cross-check. So when it comes to the fish species, when it comes to the water quality or problems related to the dam construction, so it's going to be interesting if you can be more specific. Like for example, in Songkram River, they talk about the water gate dam construction. So if they already talked about certain stuff and problems, like Kam River, so the dam construction actually helped out. But for example, in Khong River and also Moon River, dam construction actually caused more problems. And this is very impressive because every team has only 2 or 3 days to prepare, and then you come up with something significantly. Okay, please give a big round of applause. You did good. Because you only had basically 2 days. And you very quick to adapt all the comments, and then I actually see the huge improvement in your proposal, and I actually see your determination. And as I told you that please remember today that you work with the committee, you work with the common people, you work with the people for common good. So I think this is important that you are sincere on whatever you're doing for the greater good. And today it's very interesting because the proposals are very diverse. So it's more about PR application, information, data collection application, or it's about environmental problems or water level problems or fish species problems. So even for me, I'm also from Bangkok, so this is what I experience around here, that I get to learn about different backgrounds or diverse backgrounds. So what is actually important that you really have to work with the committee members. You have to do something based on their needs. But you did really good for the past 2-3 days. Thank you. I would like to say I really appreciate how knowledgeable you are. Either it's going to be on IT or language skills, because this kind of skills would actually help out for you. I mean, would actually be very helpful for you to expand your knowledge and get you the exposure, the world exposure in this kind of moving era. But somehow I understand that if you really want to understand about local community problems, you have to spend much more time to work with them. So that's why uh, I told you that certain problems that you think it should be addressed at the community level. So it's not actually the the actual problem, but I understand that you actually don't have time, because for all of us, we understand that we actually are more in-depth researcher, but somehow, because we work closely with the community, we're not gonna question community members or the community leaders like, why are you doing this, why are you not doing that, because there are different levels when it comes to the decision making for the community people. So there are a lot of barriers or kind of obstacles that you cannot understand them within just few days, but somehow you're gonna be the young generation who get to learn about the community problems. I really hope that your generation can actually make a meaningful change in the future. Thank you.
ครับก็จบลงไปแล้วนะครับสำหรับ
Okay,
ขั้น
thank
ต
you
อน
very
ใน
much
การ
for
ที่จะ
the
ดำเนิน
whole
การ
final
สอบสวน
pitching.
ครับในโอกาสนี้ครับขอกราบขอบคุณท่านคณะกรรมการ
I would like to say thank you very much for all the 3 committee members.
ท่านครับโดยท่านที่หนึ่งครับท่านผู้ช่วยศาสตราจารย์ดรคมศักดิ์หานชัยผู้อำนวยการสถาบันวิจัยและพัฒนามหาวิทยาลัยนครพนมครับท่านที่สองครับท่านอาจารย์สิริพรสุตานนท์สังกัดคณะครุศาสตร์มหาวิทยาลัยนครพนมครับและท่านสุดท้ายครับท่านผู้ช่วยศาสตราจารย์ดรโสรัตน์ประวินวงศ์วุฒิครับจากศูนย์ศึกษาอนุภูมิภาคลุ่มน้ำโขงและคณะเกษตรและเทคโนโลยีมหาวิทยาลัยนครพนมครับครับซึ่งเชื่อว่าวันนี้นะครับน้องๆของเราทุกทีมนั้นก็ได้รับทั้งข้อแนะนำและคำติชมนะครับจากท่านคณะกรรมการในด้านของผลงาน
And I hope that today's final pitching is actually fruitful for everyone, for every team, for all the team members.
ว่าศักยภาพของเยาวชนและคนรุ่นใหม่ที่มีหัวใจในด้านการอนุรักษ์และพัฒนาแหล่งพื้นที่นะครับที่มองเห็นถึงปัญหาที่ซึ่งในวันนี้ก็ได้มีการผลิตออกมาเป็นนวัตกรรมในวันนี้นะครับผมแล้วก็ขอให้น้องๆทุกคนนะครับได้เก็บเกี่ยวประสบการณ์เก็บเกี่ยวคำแนะนำจากท่าน
I hope all the team members and every team will take the comments from the committee members to improve
ทุกคนนั้นได้
your innovation.
รางวัลที่ได้แน่นอนนะครับพี่โอปอครับ
ช่วงนี้ค่ะก็ยังเป็นช่วงสำคัญตอนนี้ตามด้านหลังกำลังรวบรวมเป็นประกาศผลในห้องหลักจามจุรี
Okay, so the award announcements will take place in the main auditorium in the Jamjari room. So we will announce the award and we will conduct the award ceremony.
โดยตอนนี้ค่ะ
So right now it's the lunch break. So, oh, not the lunch break, sorry. It's going to be the short break.
กลับมาเจอกันที่
It's going to be the short break for 10 minutes, and all we will be back here, and then we move to Jamjari.
พื่อ